Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Creative Saints podcast.
Season 3.
I'm Victoria.
And I'm Josh.
Here we go.
This
another
is episode 5.
I know. It's really stacking up.
It feels like we are doing something.
We're not just pretending anymore.
We're not pretending anymore.
There was this touch and go moment, I think, where after we recorded the first one, I was like, so this is it. We either keep doing this or we stop right now and abandon ship. And I think that week had gotten really busy. And so that was maybe why I was like, wait, do we even have the capacity for this?
The bandwidth?
Sure. But here we are. Another episode. I'm excited.
But every waking moment is planning for the things we're doing. And instead of playing Angry Birds on my phone, no, I don't play Angry Birds.
Angry Birds.
Instead of piddling on my phone for 5 minutes playing some stupid block game, I have zero desire to do that and want to be working on the things that check off a couple tasks from my list. And it's getting fun.
Yeah, we had kind of made a joke maybe one day, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, where I was like, wait, don't talk about that yet. Save it for the podcast. And I think I'd heard that joke somewhere else, but I was like, oh, it's actually kind of true. I'm like, wait, I actually don't want to talk about that yet. Let's talk about that later. So it's just been funny to see how our conversation has evolved, and we're way more comfortable now in this space talking about, the things we're passionate about.
Right.
We talk about these things all the time. Now there's just mics in our hand. And so that's literally the only thing that's different.
It is.
And of course, the expectation that there's an audience somewhere out there in the great void of the internet that is going to listen. And, that does put a little extra pressure on to say just things the right way.
Say things the proper way and make sure that they come across the way they're supposed to.
We're just trying to be engaging for everyone. Okay. So listen and appreciate our effort, hopefully.
For what it is.
Well, we wanted to talk about something today that is, I guess, pretty close to our heart because it's not something that we appreciated early on.
Early on, or for probably the first 5 years of running a business.
Yeah. So this is year 6. Yeah, early on. And that is rest.
Rest. Not laziness. Rest.
Very nice distinction. We hadn't even talked about the difference there. Yeah, we are very passionate about this, and probably because of what you just said, right? The difference between laziness and rest. You have to have rest. It's so important, especially for hyper creative people. I think their brain is just going 24/7, and it can be hard to know how, it can be hard to know when, it can be hard to remove yourself from what you're doing. So yeah, just kind of let's talk about what that's looked like for us and what we think is a good idea for people that are maybe just working too hard. Maybe working too hard isn't the right thing to say. I think it's very important to work hard.
Constantly going.
But never stopping, never turning your brain off and giving yourself a reprieve is so unhealthy.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments if you suffer from the overactive brain, never stopping brain that at 3 a.m. you're still wide awake, and contemplate getting into your workspace and doing something.
What he's really asking, guys, is if his tribe is out there somewhere so that when he is awake at 3 a.m., he can DM somebody and start talking about creative ideas, because it's not me.
Validated.
It's not me. I will be asleep.
Let's go here.
Okay.
What is a time recently that you experienced not resting?
Yep. Great question. I think that when I feel overwhelmed, which is ironic, that is when I have the hardest time resting. Because I guess I could get specific. I don't know that I have like a specific moment. Oh, it was 2 weeks ago, but like we have had a lot of change in our life in the last year. And with that, there have been moments of super high highs because it has been good and it has been exciting. But we've had the flip side of that also, where it's been very overwhelming and it has been very different. And there are a lot of things that were not what I expected. And so in those moments where I feel overwhelmed and like outside of control, or I don't know what the next thing to do is, I busy myself
Yeah.
when I should be resting. I should be taking a breath, taking a step back, reevaluating, actually looking at reality
Hmm.
rather than emotions. That's what I should be doing.
Right.
But I do, when I get overwhelmed, I really tend to busy myself
Yeah.
with little things, little tasks. That's when, I'll ask you, like, hey, what can I be the most help with today? Or what's some little thing that I can take off your plate? And then on top of that, of course, it's the homeschool and the house and
Hmm.
the laundry and like all the things.
Yeah.
And I just won't stop.
Right.
Um,
And what happens when you don't pause and you keep going?
I, I don't know. You tell me. Marriage is a mirror. Yeah, I crash, probably emotionally more than any other way. I crash, something will set me off. And now, more than just being overwhelmed, now everything is the end of the world.
Stress comes in there and
Yeah,
you just live in a stressed out space until
yeah.
your body
You
forces you
just
to
put yourself
stop.
into this cycle. And then for me, I'll probably either get sick
Hmm.
and be forced to rest. My body will literally put me in bed, or yeah, something like that, where I just am forced to take a breath. And that's not the way, that's not healthy. That's
You
not
don't
the
do
way to
that
do
very
it.
often
Thanks.
at
Good.
all.
I have my moments, and I think maybe that's more common for um, females and are kind of like, emotional
Uh,
makeup and all those kinds of things. But
moms,
yeah, I don't think that it happens very often for me, but especially like the dramatic crash. I mean, that's kind of worst case scenario is I have reached the end of my rope and I'm just a mess. That happens maybe once a year.
I mean, I would
Like
say in our
it
entire
has
marriage, maybe 3 times.
it has to be very circumstantial. Yeah, but I have learned that when things are starting to pile up, you can't always work harder to make things better.
Hmm.
And that's coming from someone who, again, I believe working hard is so important. I
Yeah.
think it is absolutely vital, not just to creatives, but to humans. We have very like sedentary lifestyles as a culture. And
Hmm.
I just think it's so important to work hard.
Yeah.
Um,
Move.
yeah, but it's so equally important to rest,
Right.
to find a way to reprieve, to Sabbath, to, whatever that
Yeah.
is for you. Like,
We
so
live in a
yeah,
hustle culture,
yeah.
and it's really hard when it's shoved down your throat. Hustle, 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 hustle. And when we started, I would hustle and be looking for opportunities at 2 a.m. that are never going to be fruitful, from messaging back and forth with Tim Bob and Timbuktu, who has no money to actually work with and is just looking for a $50 logo.
Can
Spin
I
your
say something really honest?
I still do it.
Did that happen last
That
night?
did happen last night.
And I looked over and I said, "What are you doing? Who are you messaging right now?" And when we got up this morning, you said, "That person wanted free work."
Yeah.
And you know what? It's funny because you don't do that often at all. And I had this feeling of like, if this person is up late and messaging you and like, kind of dragging you along the process of like a potential client, I just have this feeling that like that person didn't have their priorities in order and it wasn't going to pan out. Again, that's learned experience. That's
Yeah.
not like, I had some crazy intuition or anything,
Right.
but it's the people who understand rest
Hmm.
and prioritize a lifestyle
Yeah.
like that, who have turned out to be the best clients, the
Right.
best partners, the best collaborators.
100%.
Um, and
Those people most of the time become friends
yeah,
and will text you 3 years down the road and say, "Hey, I have a referral because you crushed it and
yeah,
they love my stuff,
yeah.
love their product, not, and they like that I did it." But there is a fine line that I struggle with currently, of trying to be more kind and understanding of people who are so underwater themselves and can't find rest. I want to help them get to that solution. But when I find out that they're wasting time and trying to, in essence, steal something or con or something because they don't have any money to work with, they don't have a budget to work with, and they want you to give them something in good faith and So I'm learning to
There's that Christ-like part. It can be really hard. I know, because
Jesus take the wheel.
this is our livelihood,
Yeah.
so in moments where people, and don't get me wrong, you have done free work.
Yeah.
Like, we have done things and gifted things and said, "Hey, we really believe in what you're doing. We wanna come
And
alongside you. We wanna partner with you."
I love when that feeling
Yeah.
comes, but I would say to everybody that learning that is such a discernment is a thing, trusting your gut is a thing, learning your lessons is a thing, but you still are going to get burned. But I would rather be the kind person who my rest was disrupted or my balance was disrupted to try and help somebody who I feel like I could help until I realize, oh, you're just playing me. Because I want to feel I want to feel like I've done my part in being the best human being and being Christ-like to people.
Well, and doing your due diligence as a business owner.
Right.
It's your responsibility to find the work.
Right.
And Google and SEO and all that can only bring you so much.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you have to put the work in, but maybe we're tangenting a little bit away from
Yeah, let's go back to
rest.
rest.
Now we're talking about hustle. But I do think they go hand in hand, right? Like, that's the cycle that you got caught up in. And for us, we're kind of coming in on a season that's exactly on the opposite side of hustle. Um, when we did move out of the city, everything changed.
Everything
And
changed.
we were in a hustle culture. And it was great. And
Right.
we loved it.
Hmm.
And there are things about it that I absolutely miss.
Hmm.
And the fast pace and just the constant, like, you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, and you don't know who's going to be there and who you're going to get to meet or collab with,
Right.
or I love that. But at its core, um there was hustle culture there because everybody was trying to do the same thing. Everybody was trying to build, everybody was trying to grow and find the next opportunity.
Right.
And yeah, there was some competition. You had to beat somebody that might be your really great friend to the
Yeah.
punch of a client. Um, and so there was some of that. And I can't say that we experienced a ton of that, like, competitive nature, but it was there.
Competition was definitely there, and something that bothered me about that culture of hustle is nobody was collaboratively working.
Hmm.
And two minds are always going to be better than one. And working with other people, bouncing ideas off of. The whole reason we're doing this is because that is so important to find your
Yeah.
people that you can bounce ideas off of, that you can collaborate with, and you're not trying to beat someone to a client. We talked at our meetup about this is not a place to come and sell your business to each other. Yeah, if we collaborate and we do things together, that's awesome. But this is not a self promoting networking event. If there's
Yeah.
business cards or stories exchange, that's great. But going to hustle, and if you listen to episode 4, we talked about like making progress and planning out your progress and creating a task list and those things. And that is such a healthy tool for getting out of a hustle mindset
Mm.
to actually track along and make progress, set your goals for yourself, and to build on something and be able to build rest into your schedule so that you know I have these tasks to get done in Monday through Friday. So Saturday is for me and my family, Sunday's for church and rest and Sabbath and whatever, and Monday it's back at it. But you know that you have those 2 days. You're going to bleed into those. You're going to bleed into your night, but set a schedule 8 to 6 every day or 8 to 5 or whatever it is, and follow it and track it, and you can make rest work. And you're going to stumble, but you can make it work.
I think one thing about setting those boundaries, for us, if you are a creative who's married or in a relationship, there can be those times where work is necessary. The
Yeah.
nights are necessary, the weekends might be necessary. And that just is what it is. Some clients pay rush fees
Yeah.
and you have to work. I think where we didn't do great early on is we didn't communicate when that was the case. So for me, a lot of the time I would just see you working and working and working and working and working. And now we've put the kids to bed and now you're working again. And now it's the weekend and we went to the park, but now you're working again. And part of that is that you were in that hustle culture and mindset, and we were trying to build something up, but also we weren't really talking about like, hey, I have this thing and it's going to require this much of me.
Yeah.
You were just stretching yourself as thin without noticing it, as thin as you could.
I think it was TikTok stretching me as thin as I could possibly be.
And I I don't think that I fully understood why or what was happening. And now we've kind of learned to, now that you have set those boundaries and you said, "Hey, these are my hours of work.
Hmm.
These are not my hours of work."
Yeah.
We're now able to communicate and you're able to come to me and say, "Hey, here's the expectation for this project.
Yeah.
It's probably going to require me to work tonight
Yeah.
late." Okay, great. I'm not gonna plan on, like, us having one-on-one time then, and
Yeah.
that's okay.
Hmm.
We'll do that tomorrow, or I don't know, just whatever that looks like. "Hey, I'm gonna have to work for a couple hours on Saturday." Okay, so I'm not gonna plan on a family park day on
Right.
Saturday. We'll go later in the
Right.
afternoon. Um, but I was just getting mad because, well, I wanted to do X, Y, or Z, and this is what I had
Me too.
planned, and you didn't tell me. And, yeah, so our communication in that area around hustle, around rest has also improved where because you've set boundaries, because we've improved
Hmm.
how we rest
Yeah.
within our work, it has improved our communication around
Right.
work and around projects. So that's been a great benefit
It really has been.
um, to setting those boundaries,
Yeah.
you know?
Overbooking yourself is putting yourself in a position where you can never rest. We have our morning coffees and we have time after the girls go to bed. We eat dinner as a family most nights. That's that's putting rest in your schedule and that's putting rest as a priority.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said to the fact that it's not all bad. Like the hustle is also important. I think that again, the hard work because you're paying your bills. You have a
Yeah.
life to live. You have bills to pay. You have things that need to get accomplished. So because there are actual goals that need to be met, I think that we put a lot of guilt on ourselves
Yeah.
when we do feel like, "Oh gosh, I really need a break." You were providing for your family.
Right.
Things had to get done. The clients needed their projects, whatever that looked like. So then when you were like, "Oh gosh, I'm tired." And I feel this way too sometimes. I'm tired. I need a break. I need alone time. I need whatever that is. I need to get out of the house.
Hmm.
Then there's this guilt that sets in that I could be working. I could be doing more. I could be creating more. I could have another client. I could take someone else on. I could just be accomplishing more.
Right.
And sure, you probably could. But would it be the best thing for you? Probably not. Not if you're tired.
No.
Like,
When you're tired, you're not putting your best work out there. And that's another important aspect of rest is it gives you a recharge that you can come at what you enjoy, what you have passion for with a clear mind. There are some days where I sit and stare at a project for so long and a branding project, for
just
instance,
willing it to come together.
and I just sit there and I'm wasting my time, tiring my eyes, just sitting here spinning, doing stuff. And it's like, ah, that doesn't work. Oh, I sketched that. That doesn't work. Oh, I did this. It doesn't work. And I will keep doing it. But what I've realized probably in the last 6 months to a year is if I get up and I go get some fresh air outside, if I go make a coffee, if I go get some water, if I go come talk to you and the girls, or whatever the case may be, make a phone call and talk to someone, call someone and encourage them, whatever that is, if I do that, when I come back and I sit down, it's like I have a refreshed, like ready to go mindset. You have to constantly refresh your brain and rest your brain, or you're going to stop. The ideas are going to stop.
Yeah, that's a good point. Let's kind of define what rest is. Because I think that what you're saying is really good and it's good to like take a break,
Hmm.
right? And that's kind of what that is, especially
Right.
throughout the day, not wearing yourself out. But
That
what
does not mean going to take a nap in the middle of the day.
there's a lot of, I actually heard something about whether or not naps are good for you. Like a 20-minute nap is good for you, but an hour nap isn't, or something like that.
Mm.
Anyways,
I
I'm
think the Spanish might disagree with you.
siesta. But let's kind of define what rest is. You just said it's not, don't go take a nap. Well, rest is not going and being lazy and going to watch TV. That's not
Netflix
intentional rest.
Netflix is not resting.
No.
It's draining.
Yeah.
If you're watching something, you're not resting, you're engaging your time. And especially as a creative, someone who uses their eyes and their ears, you're overstimulating yourself and you're not giving yourself time to come down from all of the noises and frequencies and colors and pixels that are in your face and your ears. Your brain needs time, your body needs time to come down from that. So rest is not sitting and watching a movie. That is restful and it gets you into a rested space on the couch or in your bed, but
Yeah.
it's not rest.
What would you classify as intentional rest?
I think intentional rest is devoting an entire day to Saturday is my day. I am going to start the day slow. I'm going to drink my coffee slower. I'm going to play Legos with my kids. I'm
Yeah.
going to
Go outside.
if I want to nap, I'm going to nap on a Saturday. If I want to fall asleep to a movie and do that, I'm going to do that on a Saturday. If I want to go with friends and sit around in a beautiful day and just take in some fresh air or go for a walk or go to the park. I'm going to do that on Saturday. I'm not going to try and interject that into my week. And I will say for us, we have found a balance where there are some days where it's like it is too nice outside. I'm going to work a little tonight and we're all going to go to the park because it is so good and so restful for all of us.
Our last week, our Saturday was actually Friday, was kind of our that
Yeah.
was our like weekend. And winter in Michigan, it had been our first one in 16 years. We didn't remember how incredibly filthy the car gets. And it was every time we got in the car, we both were on the edge so much. We were so unrested, whatever the opposite of rest is, getting into that dirty car with all the salt and all the things. Oh my word. So we took last Friday and we didn't even plan for it, but it was such a beautiful day.
Yeah.
Got the kids out in the yard and pulled the car up and we cleaned the car. I mean, I wouldn't say that it was restful in that like we were doing manual labor, pulling everything out and vacuuming the whole thing. But it ended up at the end of it, we all felt so rested. We'd been outside. The girls had ridden their bikes and their scooters and um
Played catch and
drawn
we
with chalk and we played catch, like, and the car was clean at the end of it, so that was really peaceful. But it was just we're spending family time, we're outside, there's sunshine, we turned on music, we kind of intentionally, like, while we hadn't really planned on that being a day of rest, we put
yeah,
our phones away, and it was just so good for our souls to, like,
right.
do something other than be on a screen.
Right. But I think it's exactly what I just said about being planned out and make rest a rhythm.
Yeah.
And for us, our family loves things organized and straightened and clean, and even our girls. And so doing that, we all found joy in that. So rest is doing the things you find joy in that don't have an ulterior motive. It's not financial gain. It's not to complete a task. It's not what are the things that are going to bring you joy and make your life more peaceful or bring you peace from doing. I'm sure a lot of people cannot relate to that, and cleaning the car is a restful thing. But I'm sure there's a lot of people who can relate to that,
Yeah.
that I have control over this. I have my clean environment
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, and we are in the car a lot, and
Yeah.
so it does, yeah, bring us peace. Well, we don't have to spend a lot more time talking about rest. Is there anything you feel like, is necessary, like you want to say about kind of the process of what that looks like, or something that is a good idea, like an intentional way to
I
rest?
think adding it to your task list,
Yeah.
adding it to your list of things you need to do, add in rest. Find
Hmm.
out, maybe write down 3 to 5 things that bring you joy and are relaxing and peaceful for you. Write those down and work those into your schedule. Maybe not every day, maybe twice a week to start. And
Yeah.
then the next week, make it, 3 times a week and see how you can do with that and making your work schedule make that. And that can be really hard for people who travel with a schedule, and a lot of creatives do, but you can find a way to make that work.
One thing that this is kind of the idea, creating a scheduled rest
Yeah.
kind of thing. It's kind of a conversation about boundaries
Yeah.
because you're setting up boundaries for yourself, saying, I'm not going to work past this point.
Right.
So here's my boundary.
Mhm.
But it also is creating a boundary from the opposite side and saying, actually, you don't have access to me at
Right.
this time. And that is okay. It is so okay. And I feel like if you are listening to this and you are a hustle kind of person, let me just give you permission right now to not be available to everyone at all times. That can be hard again when you're trying to pay the bills.
Right.
And if somebody contacts you and they need a project done, the gut reaction is to dig your claws into that. Don't let go of it immediately. Yes, I'm available, whatever you need. That's kind of the gut reaction, I think. But you have permission to say, you know what? I'm actually available tomorrow at this time.
Right.
Hey, I received your call. Thank you. I'm super interested to talk to you. I'm available at this time.
Yeah.
And setting those boundaries, I am telling you, the way that people respect you for doing it,
Right.
the right people,
The
the
right
right
people.
clients will so respect you for doing that. I can't tell you the amount of people that have said to Josh, hey, your family comes first. Hey, man, I really respect you for having that boundary.
Right.
And you don't, it's not something that I thought would like be appreciated
Mhm.
by people, but for the right client, these people, again, like you said earlier, they end up becoming either long term clients or they end up becoming friends
Mhm.
in the future because they understand the importance
Yeah.
of the boundary, of the rest. It's just really cool to watch and watch how our clientele has shifted
Right.
because of that. And maybe that's another
Exactly.
conversation or another episode. But we went from those people that want to text you or message you at 10 o'clock at night.
Mhm.
They have no respect for your time. They have no respect for your boundaries. They're themselves in hustle mode. You started setting boundaries, and our clientele immediately changed to people
Yeah.
who had respect
Yeah.
for your time, who, to be honest, could afford the work
Right.
because of the type of lifestyle they were also living.
Exactly.
Um,
They have a rested, healthy lifestyle.
yeah,
I think you hit on there another episode that maybe we should go on is how to say no the right way and how to select your clients the right way,
yeah,
because that is I love my life so much more because we learned how to say no to the wrong people and to be able to walk away from money.
yeah, yeah. That's a whole nother episode.
Oy.
Hold on, let me take a note. Yeah, well, I just want to encourage you guys to this week get out there. If you are in a part of the country where the sun is shining and spring is just a few days away, get outside this week.
Soak it up.
Set some boundaries, take a walk. If ground danger thing, go take your shoes off in the grass, whatever you got to do. Set some boundaries this week. See how it affects your mindset and the mindset of those around you. I encourage you just try it. I think it might be interesting. I mean, I don't want anybody to like take my advice and it not go well for them, okay? So maybe I should just caveat if it feels right, maybe, or if you want to. Just try it. If somebody reaches out to you this week and it feels overwhelming in the moment, but you feel like you have to, try and just put them off until tomorrow and see what happens. Create that schedule,
Yeah.
create that
Create it.
boundary.
Set the
And
boundaries. People will respect the boundaries that you set. They aren't going to respect a boundary that they don't see.
yeah, if there's anybody out there spring breaking, enjoy your rest,
Rest hard.
and we'll see you in the next episode.
See you next week.
Bye, guys.